we will begin the conversation. And oh, what a fun conversation it will be here, because our lead is from Boston, as that was the stage for Game 2. Everyone and their mother anticipating that the Boston basketball team would come out with vengeance and they were going to not let their guard down, like many said they did in Game 1. But it was the Eastern Conference semifinals. Jason Tatum and the C's trying to even the ledger against Jalen Brunson and the Knickerbockers. Now, this was the early game. Some say the undercard, right? Undercard. And I don't know if you were watching it or not. If not, we had another OMG moment. Another OMG moment in this one. What was it? Mikal Bridges sealing another massive comeback. The Knicks were down by 20 again. They did it again. Oops, it happened again. Down 20, the Knicks storm back, second straight win and second straight game-sealing steal at the very end. And the Knickerbockers leave the Boston Celtics totally discombobulated as they win 91-90. And now New York on the road up 2-0. They have the lead. The upstart underdog Slim Pickens of the Knickerbockers in the Eastern Conference semifinal. The Jalen Brunson didn't play all that well. He only had 17 points. But New York, with Jalen Brunson out there, he made a couple of foul shots with 12.7 seconds to go in the game. So that left the score 91-90. Jason Tatum, Mr. All-Everything, Mr. I'm the greatest, all that stuff. Jason Tatum then could not get to the rim. And Mikal Bridges came over there. He moved in. He batted the ball away. A futile effort by Jason Tatum. Rather pathetic. And the Knickerbockers got it. And that's it. That's all she wrote. So Josh Hart, 23 points. Karl Anthony Towns, Kitty Cat, the old Timberwolf with 21 points, 17 rebounds, and a partridge in a pear tree for New York, who will now host Game 3 in Midtown Manhattan, right adjacent to Penn Station there on Saturday afternoon. So let us discuss the question. You know what the story here is. The better story in the losing locker room. But the question is, who gets the biggest slices of the Celtics-Boston cream pie here? Who gets the biggest slices of that? So I've got Green Comet, Nobel Prize winner, and Prince. And we will combine all of these things together, and we are going to make a delicious soft pretzel, which the Celtics got twisted into in the fourth quarter yet again. They got twisted into a delicious soft pretzel you can find out on the street. So, let's start with the head of the fish. I was told when I was younger that the fish rots from the head. Jason Tatum. Ding, 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 ding. Jason, hey, Jason, I know you won your little championship last year, but you still got to play this year. What was that? You're supposed to be the franchise player on the final possession. I'm going to go back to that. So, I don't know that this can be understated. The Knicks take a 1-point lead, and that Al Horford came up to the top of the the 3-point line. He set a screen. Tatum's dribbling the ball. So on the screen, I don't know if you noticed this or not, but I jotted this down on my little notes app on my phone. So Horford sets a screen. There's 2 Knicks players there. On the screen, Tatum at this point after the screen is now guarded by Mitchell Robinson, a taller player, a lumbering big man, Mitchell Robinson, with not a lot of lateral movement. And so what did Jason Tatum do? Did Jason Tatum zoom past Mitchell Robinson, or did he fall back and take an easy jumper over Robinson? No. He hesitated, he snoozed, and he loosed as he failed to even get a shot up. And then I mentioned Mikal Bridges came over and snatched the ball away. Tatum was actually trying to pass the ball. He was trying to pass the ball. You can't make this up. So you have the 2 headliners on the Celtics, Jaylen Brown, who futzed the final play in Game 1, and now Jason Tatum says, hold my beer, and let me take care of this right now. He failed to even get a game-winning shot. So both your star players, neither one of them got the shot on the rim, or even in Tatum's case, didn't get the shot up at all as time ran out. And on this night, when the dust settled, Jason Tatum only had 13 more points than you and I had, and we didn't play in the game. He took 19 shots. He missed 14 of them. And Jason Tatum was the Green Comet. The Green Comet of vomit is what he was in this game. Overall, Tatum, 2 games in to the second round of the NBA playoffs. Jason Tatum, your all-everything player, shooting 28.5% from the floor, and it's even worse than that from three-point range, but 12 of 42 from the floor. And this was a team-wide infestation of suck for the Celtics, who definitely sucked at a time you cannot suck. The green team went more than 8 minutes without a field goal in the fourth quarter. More than 8 minutes without a field goal in the fourth quarter. They missed not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9, not 10, not 11, not 12. How about 13 consecutive shots? And what was the coach doing over there in the sidelines? Keep shooting, boys. Yeah. 13 consecutive missed shots. So is this series exposing cracks in the Boston championship DNA, as so many hack sportscasters like to say? So 1,000%, right? The dependence, the absolute dependence on the three ball is at this point entering into ancient Egyptian territory. You know that image that was left by the people that lived in that time in the caves? They had the art in the caves in Egypt. And there's the image of the dragon eating its own tail. Sometimes it's a snake. That's essentially the Celtics here. Like they are a one-trick pony, and they're okay with it, right? It's a self-defeating style. You live by the three ball, you die by the three ball. Yeah, but they won last year, so you can't criticize them. They won the championship last year. You don't know basketball. That's why you're doing the overnight show. Oh, calm down. All right? Well, it ain't last year. It's this year, and what goes around comes around. Right now, the math ain't mathin'. As the Celtics, holy cannoli. How bad are they? They have now, based on the math, they have a 12.5% chance of coming back and winning this series. That's the percentage chance on teams that have come back losing the first 2 games at home. But that does tell you what has happened, not what's going to happen. Now, page 2. Can you explain how Tom Thibodeau's Knickerbockers have spotted Boston 20-point leads and then come back and won both games? So I'm going to follow the teachings of the Nobel Prize winner, died a few years ago, Desmond Tutu. You don't often hear Desmond Tutu's name on sports radio, but he famously is quoted as saying, there is only one way to eat an elephant, a bite at a time. The Celtics had a massive lead in both games. New York, what did they do? They whittled the lead down in the second half, and they trimmed it down to bite-sized portions. And the thing that I will credit them, unlike a team that I like that's gutless, the Clippers, or the spineless Denver Nuggets that gave up in that game in OKC, more on that later. But there was no white flag. They were getting punched, the Knicks, but they didn't tap out. And so, well, you're never supposed to tap out. It's the playoffs. Teams tap out all the time. The Knicks kept on fighting, trucking, whatever you want to say. They finished the race. And a perfect embodiment of the Knicks coming back, Mikal Bridges, who was on his way to being the villain. He was on his way to being the villain, and then he turned out to be the hero because he rewrote the story in the fourth quarter. If you weren't watching the game, Bridges was not only a basketball player, he was terrible for 3 quarters. Certainly offensively, he was terrible. He made some plays defensively, but 0 of 8 from the floor. He had a goose egg in the points category over the first 3 quarters, and then he ends up scoring all of his 14 points in the fourth quarter. And so in the end now, everyone's saying he's a Celtic, he's a villain for the Celtic fans, but he was going to be a villain for the Knicks the way he was playing. All right, now, what is the anatomy of the Boston Celtics choke job? So there's some sound. I have 4 sounds for the Celtics and how they lost this game. Boom, whop, bang, doink. That's the sound of the basketball missing the net. Boom, whop, bang, doink. Yeah. So they were up Boston was up 73-53. And I jotted down, it was a little over 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. So they're up by 20. From that point, you want to take a guess? Take a guess what the Celtics shot the rest of the game. So the final 15 minutes and 12 seconds. I went back. I looked at the box score. I did the Maller math on this. So the Celtics took 28 shots over the final 15 minutes and 12 seconds. Of those 28, how many did they miss? Not make. How many did they miss? Okay. Got your answer? Don't cheat. The Celtics missed 23 of 28 shots. They shot somehow, a professional basketball team, the reigning champions of pro basketball, in the fourth quarter and the final minutes of the third quarter, shot 17.9%. Let me repeat that for those of you a little slow, because we're on at night here. 17.9% is the shooting percentage for the C's in the final 15 minutes. And Jaylen Brown took 5 shots in that stretch. He did not score. 0 points. Jason Tatum made 1 basket from the floor. Boston, how about from three-point range? They took 14 three-point shots in the final 15 minutes. Of course they did. That's all they do. And they missed 12 of them. They shot actually worse from three-point range than they did from two-point range. And anyway, 2 of 14 from downtown for the Celtics, who find themselves in a very, very tough quagmire at this point. All right, now, last word. So a couple of you knuckleheads that listen to us in Boston on the Sports Hub, and we thank you for that, you requested that I comment on Joe Mazzulla, but in particular, I guess there's a nickname, and I'm going to take your word for this, so hopefully you're not lying to me, because if you're lying to me, I'm going to sound like a jackass. But two different people, as far as I know, they know each other. They said, hey, I want to get you got to talk about this. Apparently, the popular afternoon show in Boston, I guess it's the Felger and Mash show, they gave the nickname to Celtics coach Joe Mazzulla. They said that his nickname is JJ, after the podcaster, imposter, Laker coach. Okay, so I laughed, I chuckled when I saw that. So does the comp of Joe Mazzulla, Celtic coach Joe Mazzulla, being like JJ Reic, hold water? So I'm going to nod yes, although there is a qualifier. Like, Reic is the podcast puppet for LeBron. Like, we know he's in over his head. He didn't really know what he's doing. I think he proved that in the playoffs. He had a meltdown. It was a full circus meltdown when he was questioned, and then the Lakers went out there and lost the final game, which was just great. Just great. But Joe Mazzulla, on the other hand, or JJ, I guess as they're calling him, Joe Mazzulla is living in the, as he says, the expected world, attacking the game analytically, which tells you he's not really coaching. Like, coaching is, okay, I'm going to mix in the analytics, but I'm also going to go by the feel of the game. There's no feel of the game. I promise you, Joe Mazzulla does not follow the feel of the game. If Joe Mazzulla followed the feel of the game, the Celtics would not have played the way they play. Right? And then both are arrogant, although you gotta understand here, the side by side. If you look at these guys, you got Reic, who's next level, right? Next level, temperamental and all that, and a lot of bacteria around both of them. Now, is Joe Mazzulla in any danger if the Celtics lose this series? No. Because the entire organization, this is how they want to play. He is just a middle manager. That is all he is. Just like JJ Reic is a middle manager to LeBron, and LeBron's coaching the team, and JJ's pretending to be the coach and giving a-hole answers to the media. Joe Mazzulla is doing much of the same thing, right? In terms of, is Mazzulla his confidence an asset or a liability for the Celtics? Well, right now, it's a liability. But again, I don't think he's in position to change anything. Like, he's a true believer in the dogma. He is a prince. He's a partisan prince. He blindly follows the analytics. There's no wiggle room. And he's at the point, and I didn't see much of the post-game news conference, but he seems to be unwilling to even acknowledge that there's an alternative way to play basketball. And if anyone questions the way the Celtics play, he shames them. Shame! 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 How dare you? What's wrong with you?